can deal lethal damage to a pronghorn.
Buddy not about to help. He just walking up looking at him like, dang, buddy, you done? You GG's? You finished? He over there spamming F on his phone. Listen, the other day we was reacting to what if we seen something that was worse than dinosaurs. I said, Lord have mercy. Where has Cheetahs been? All right, we was over there getting our fix. I think I even said it in the video. But today, Cheetahs done dropped. They heard my prayers. America's secret top tier animal. All right, y'all about to learn about me today. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get the video.
Cheetahs are low-tier trash.
Facts. Boy, I thought cheetahs was the goats my whole life. Found out they down there with the ostriches. We slandering ostriches every chance we get. Go check my resume. All right? Big old goofy birds, man.
The fastest land build in the game has a ton of flaws in its game plan, which you could learn about in this video here if you like. But enough about cheetahs. What about the second fastest?
Ooh.
Do you even know what it is?
A gazelle.
How does it stack up against its competition? I talk a lot on this channel about how overpowered the animals in the Africa server are.
Yep.
And while that's certainly true, the North America server also has its fair share of builds with ridiculously
grizzly
OP
bear,
stats,
boy.
including one little known build with the second fastest run speed in the entire game. You might expect it to be a type of big cat,
Elk.
maybe a close relative of the cheetah, like the mountain lion, or perhaps a type of cervid, like
Can't
the
even
deer
say
or
the
elk.
name. What you mean?
But no, it's actually the smallest member of the giraffe family, one that
Oh, we just learned about giraffes in the last vid.
most players probably wouldn't expect to be related to the giant that we know and love, the American pronghorn.
Oh, I think I heard of this before.
The pronghorn may not look like much, but it sports some pretty impressive stats,
Look at the
including the
speed!
second highest base mobility stat of any terrestrial animal, with only the cheetah having a higher top speed. This makes it faster than every other build in the North America server by a substantial margin. Pumas, bears, and even wolves have essentially zero shot at closing the distance to a pronghorn player. Pronghorns have much more endurance than most predators, and are able to maintain these high speeds for significant distances,
That's crazy.
not just short sprints as most predators do. Pronghorns also have horns on their head which can deal decent damage in a pinch, although it's pretty rare they'd actually need to use them for anything other than dueling against each other. Still, these sharp, keratinized horns can definitely do some damage. Pronghorns aren't particularly
How do
stealthy
you
because of
know?
their bright
Gear 5
white
Luffy,
back
I've
end.
been hearing about it. I haven't
However,
watched it yet, though.
even with how noticeable they are, if you ever see a pronghorn, it's almost certain it sees you first. Their eyes are incredibly sensitive and can detect movement from 4 miles away.
Jesus Christ. How long can humans see for? Boy, ain't no way.
Because of their huge field of view, this makes it borderline impossible to sneak up on a pronghorn unless your build has some insanely high-level stealth abilities. Pronghorns have one of the lowest HP stats of any North American ungulate. They of course share a server with builds like the elk, moose, and buffalo, all with a massive health bar, making them near impossible to bring down solo. Conversely, pronghorns rely entirely on their speed stat to keep them safe,
Them boys
and
is
can't really
moving.
afford to take any damage at all. For
Ashton
the
was
most
good.
part, the pronghorn's general game plan works great. Because they have the ruminant ability, their food is abundant, as they're able to digest grass, shrubs, and even cacti if necessary. They also are able to consume plants that are toxic to builds like sheep, cattle, and horses, meaning they don't usually compete for resources with livestock. And so,
That's
as long
crazy.
as they don't get careless, pronghorns are usually able to evade most conflict. So why is the pronghorn so uniquely fast? Its immense speed stat legitimately
that.
feels like overkill, and I would argue that in the current meta, it absolutely is. However, the pronghorn has been one of North America's top survivalists for a long time, through several balance patches and expansions. And during the Younger Dryas expansion, there were additional, speedier threats that the pronghorn player base had to contend with.
Like what?
Namely the American lion and American cheetah.
Hold up. America had lions
These felid
and cheetahs? Oh, no, that's tough. That's tough.
builds were extremely dangerous to a lightweight, evasive style build like the pronghorn. The American cheetah in particular had a max speed stat roughly equivalent to its African and Asian counterparts, but was also bigger and bulkier than the modern cheetah. And so during that particular ranked season, the Pronghorn wisely opted to max out its speed and endurance in order to evade attacks from these American Felids. However, these Felids were banned with the launch of the HollaSquad balance patch, leaving the Pronghorn—
The HollaSquad, what is that? Yo, we don't need a— hey, somebody send me like an education video on a HollaSquad. What the man is that?
However, these Felids were banned with the launch of the HollaSquad balance patch, leaving the Pronghorn hugely overtuned for its remaining competition. Still, this didn't mean automatic success for the Pronghorn. In fact, their player count was dwindling up until very recently. The reason for this is that Pronghorns are extremely poor vertical jumpers, and so they're heavily impeded by any sort of barrier. They require open terrain with good visibility in order to remain competitively viable. So when human players started constructing barriers made of sharp metal, things got really dangerous really fast for the Pronghorn. Most of the herbivore builds in the North American meta can easily clear the vertical of an average barbed wire fence, but Pronghorn players usually opt to crawl under barriers if possible. Because of the Pronghorn's low HP stat, even relatively mild chip damage from barbed wire fences can deal lethal damage to a Pronghorn.
Buddy not about to help? He just walking up looking at him like, dang, buddy, you done? You GG's? You finished? He over there spamming F on his phone already.
This issue was really frustrating to deal with as a Pronghorn main, and so most of them just opted to play characters with better vertical mobility. But eventually, the human player base realized how unfair this tech was, and opted to self-impose a ban on the tech in important areas. As a result, the Pronghorn player base has recovered massively.
W humans, man. Let these animals do their thing, you know what I'm saying?
And is no longer at risk of collapsing. So I don't know if I can quite give them an S-tier rank, since they're highly vulnerable to disruption if any sort of major balance patch imposes a lot of barriers into their territory. In addition to the obvious things like human structures, like roads and fences, any increase in woodland biomes would also severely hamper their ability to detect predators or run for long distances to escape. This is the main reason why Pronghorns, despite still being faster than any of their potential competition, have failed to make an impact in biomes with less open spaces, such as the woodland tundra biome of the backcountry of Canada, or the jungles of Central America, where stealth-based builds like the Puma and Jaguar have more of an advantage. Now, to be fair, having an unfavorable matchup versus a Jaguar isn't saying much. They are the undisputed top-tier predator throughout the entirety of the Central and South American jungle biome. But it would be impressive to see them diversify their playstyle a bit to see if they could be more competitive in less open terrain, as their other giraffoid ancestors used to be. Especially since the Pronghorn's other main weakness is made worse by the fact that they spend time in completely open spaces. That weakness being their vulnerability to aerial attacks. With no tree cover, Pronghorns have nowhere to hide from the one predator that actually is able to keep up with them, the golden eagle. They may be the second fastest land build in the game, but if you include flying builds, most birds beat this speed pretty easily, especially predatory birds. Still, it's hard not to
Yo, birds might really be— yo, get these pterodactyls out of here, bruh. Do you see how big? Man. Where all my musket shooters at, man? Load them up. Time to get these birds out of here.
respect a build that managed to adapt so effectively that its strategy hard countered the game plan of their main opponents, driving them to complete and total irrelevancy. Then again, is it really that big a flex that a variant of the Cheetah build ended up not being viable in the current meta? I wouldn't be that surprised if, given enough time, the African Antelope mains also started speccing into higher speed or greater bulk in order to invalidate the African Cheetah's only favorable matchup.
Yo,
anyways, with all that being said, I'm going to give the Pronghorn the rank of A tier.
Give him A tier.
This video is brought to you by my next video on Rhinos, already up on Nebula. Pronghorns are successful despite having some of the smallest horns in the game. They're pretty much the polar opposite of the rhinoceros. I've mentioned the rhino in passing several times in recent videos.
Yo, rhinos gotta be like C, D tier, right? They're blind. Like, what you, out of nowhere, bruh, can't even see. They be attacking each other, don't they?
But I've never made an entire video dedicated to discussing their strategies.
Come on now, man. Come on.
Strengths and weaknesses. That is, until now. I've got an entire video all about the rhino.
Bro, chat, I literally just said they can't see their blind.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Hits a truck. I said, and they be attacking each other, don't they?
That is until now.
Yo, Tirzu, hire me, bruh. I come on, put me on the team, man. I know a little bit about animals.
I've got an entire video all about the Rhino. It'll hit YouTube in a few months, but the full thing is already released on Nebula. Nebula is a streaming service owned and operated by and for creators like me, and thanks to their support, I can not only do these flashy
I don't know why Twitch be showing the black screen. Maybe it's GG's for Twitch. Maybe they don't let you simul stream on Twitch no more. Maybe that's it.
edits, high quality stock footage clips, and custom 3D animations, but I'm also now able to be one video ahead, 1 month in advance on Nebula. And it's not just me, channels like Real Engineer
Shout out to the thing, man. Listen, all I'm gonna say is I need a job. All right, Tirzu, y'all go ahead, hit me up. I might do some, you know what I'm saying, some voiceovers. You know what I'm saying, give y'all a little bit of knowledge. You know what I'm saying. Y'all probably got it all anyway, but I literally said it. I literally said they're blind and they be hitting each other. Next thing you know, 2 clips of them being blind and hitting each other. W video though, man. The Pronghorn. I'm gonna have to find me a Pronghorn. They've made me a fan today, better than those booty ostriches and dookie cheetahs. You remember growing up in kindergarten, everybody was like, yo, my favorite animal's a cheetah. It's so fast. Like, oh my goodness. All for them to be butt. All right.